Okay, hi everyone, this is me. I'm just going to talk you guys through some transformations of cosine graphs so you can have a go at it while I'm away. Alright, so with cosine graphs, it works almost exactly the same as a sine graph, and it has exactly the same formula. So I just turn my pen on over here. So it has the exact same formula. So y equals a cos of x minus c plus d. Okay, so the exact same formula, and it still works in the same way. So your period is still equal to 2 pi over b, a is still the amplitude, c is still the horizontal, and d is still your vertical. Okay, the only difference with cosine graphs and sine graphs is your starting point. Alright, so if we imagine our unit circle, when we're looking at sine graphs, we only care about the y values. So when we're starting at 0 and increasing to pi on 2, which is 1, then we're going back to 0, and then we're going down to negative 1. With cosine, it's the exact same, except instead of focusing on the y values, we're focusing on the x values. Okay, so instead of starting at 0, we're starting at 1, and then we're going to 0, then we're going to negative 1, and then we're going to 0, and then back to 1 again. Okay, so our, say, y equals cos of x. Okay, we have an amplitude of 1, a period of 2 pi, a horizontal translation of 0, vertical of 0, and say we want to graph this from 0 to, we'll do it to 4 pi. Okay, so we're sketching our graph, starting at 0, and ending at 4 pi. And I'll just mark in 2 pi is our period, pi, 3 pi, pi on 2, 3 pi on 2, 5 pi on 2, 7 pi on 2. Okay, so there are all of our points that we're going to need. Alright, so now if we're sketching this function, when we have a value of 0, so here, 0 radians, okay, when we have 0 radians, which is here, our cos value of 0 is 1, because we have an x value of 1 at this point, which is the radius of our unit circle. Then, when we get to pi on 2, we're going back to 0. Then at pi, we're at negative 1. So I should mark that as 1, negative 1. 3 pi on 2, we're back to 0 again. 2 pi, back up to 1. Okay, and then we repeat again. 0, negative 1, 0, back up to 1. And we sketch our graph like that. Okay, as opposed to sine graphs, again, which are the opposite, which is if we're looking at our vertical values, we start at 0, we go up to 1, back down to 0, etc. Okay, so it's essentially the same, it's just we're starting at a different point. So we start at our highest point, not our central point. Alright, I'll just give you guys an example of a transformation of a cosine graph. So say we've got this function here. Okay, our amplitude is going to be 4, period is going to be 2 pi over 2. Sorry, that's my dog in the background, she's barking at me, she wants to go for a walk. So we've got a period of pi, we've got a vertical translation of -1. Our minimum value, we're going to graph between 0 and max. And our max value, we're just going to go to 2 pi. Lucy, what's wrong? Okay, so we're graphing our function. Sorry, shocking graphing as per usual. Yellow for this. So our midpoint, because we've got a negative translation, it's going to be down 1. Okay, we're looking at between 0 and 2 pi. So here's 0, it's 2 pi. It's pi in the middle. Pi on 2 here. Pi on 4 here, but we're doing 1 full rotation in pi. That's our half point, so we still need our quarter points. So pi on 4, 3 pi on 4, 5 pi on 4, 7 pi on 4. Okay, from here, we can sketch our function. So, like I said, with cosine, I should mark in the amplitude too. So if it's -1, amplitude of 4, it's going to go up to 3, and it's going to go down to -5. Okay, so we're starting with cosine at our highest point, so that's 3. Then 0 is going to be at pi on 4, -5 going to be at pi on 2, back to 0 at 3 pi on 4, and back up the top at pi for 1 full period. Okay, so we can sketch our graph, then we're going to do it again. So 0, -1, 0, and back up to 1 again. Back up to the top again. Okay, there we go. That's our cosine graph. If, for example, this was -4, exactly the same concept with sine, we would start from the bottom and go up instead of starting from the top and going down. Alright, does that make sense? Everyone happy? If you've got any questions, please feel free to put them on Edmodo and I'll try and get back to them as soon as possible. Hope you guys are having a lovely, lovely week and I'm missing you all. Okay, bye.